Hey, everybody, it's Chris Widener, the founder of Politicrossing, and we have an amazing interview. It's a timely interview with our gun coach, the gun life coach, Stephen Powell. He's here regularly on Politicrossing, and you got to check him out. If you love guns at all, you got to check out Stephen's regular stuff. But obviously, with everything going on today, we wanted to get on with Stephen real quick and just talk to him a little bit about Joe Biden's new all the new legislation, or not legislation, is executive orders that he's initiated today, and just really wanted to talk to you today, Stephen, and get your insights on it for our listeners. So thanks for joining us, first of all.
Sure. Thanks. It's great. It's great to be here, sir.
Yeah, awesome.
Great to be here.
Awesome. Well, we're going to start right in with, let's talk about the universal background checks. Because I know that that's one of the big things that they want. They always have. They've talked a lot about it, but talk to us about why that's a good or a bad idea. What's your thoughts on universal background checks, and what are we missing, or what's really going on here?
Well, I'm no scholar on the subject, but I'll tell you that I've been a firearms dealer since 2004. I've sold with my company, Patriot Outdoors. I've sold thousands. I can't remember the number. I mean, maybe 10,000+ firearms through our store. And with that, in 16 to 17 years, we only had 4 people that were denied a firearm. Now, like, what do you mean by that? Denied? Well, a lot of people are under the perception, based on media and what they've been told, is that there's no background checks on firearms, when that is absolutely not true. There is a national background check system in place currently. It's the FBI NICS system, all right? And it gets, hundreds or thousands of background checks delivered to them every day from law-abiding federal firearm licensees, the gun dealer, the lawful gun dealer, okay? And so just looking at that, my statistic from Eastern New Mexico gun sales, we only had 4 that were denied. Now, in those 4 that were denied, 2 appealed, and based on wrong information were then proceeded so they could purchase their firearm. All right. So out of, let's just say 10,000, just to keep it square, 10,000 background checks, 2 were denied. Well, why is that? Is it a bad system? Or is it that criminals don't go to gun stores to buy firearms?
There you go.
I don't know. I've got about 18 years of law enforcement experience. I still have spidey senses when it comes to good people and bad people. Not that I'm the superhero, or not that I know it all, but bad guys, criminals, do not typically go to gun stores to buy firearms. Yes. So when the claim of this universal background check is expansive, and to me appears to be overreaching, because I believe, from what I'm reading online here, that there's some slippery slopes in this scenario, to where they're saying they're closing loopholes and they want to keep people safe. Well, I want to keep people safe too, but at what cost of our personal freedom? That is the question. That is the question we need to have. The balance of that freedom and safety is
It's my understanding that that regulates pistols, but not any rifles or shotguns. Correct?
The background check.
Background checks, like if you walk into a gun store and you want to buy a 6-hour P220, you got to go through a background check. But if you want to buy an AR-15 or a shotgun, you don't. Is that correct?
That is not correct, Chris. And that's also another myth. If you go to a regular gun store, you have to be in the state of Arizona. We're here in Arizona. The state of Arizona, you have to be 18 to submit to a background check, a FBI NICS background check, to purchase a rifle, a shotgun, or 21 years of age for a handgun. So you have to be 21 for the handgun, 18 for a shotgun or a rifle.
So if that's the case, then what's the cry for universal background checks? Is it to get them at the gun shows and private sellers? Is that the objective here?
I think, okay, so I won't go too much on the conspiracy theory side. I don't want to be too, just over analyzing or sound crazy or whatever, but I think I believe it's my perception that the agenda is to register all firearms, so there is a national firearms registry
under the guise of safety.
Under the guise of safety, which, I don't know. I'm a history buff, Chris, and if you look at World War II, and we don't have to go into all the stats, but if you look at World War II and how and how the Axis powers came to power, one of the first things that happened was talking about the efficiency of law enforcement and the registry of all firearms. So why have a registry of all firearms? Well, we want to know who commits crime with those firearms. Okay. Well, what about in the United States, the 300 plus million firearms and 300 plus million firearms owners potentially that are out there that are law abiding? So why do we need to have tabs on us? This is the slippery slope that I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's patently obvious. I think and I think most people, even people who wouldn't even call themselves Republicans or conservatives, but they're just gun owners, I think they recognize that as well. So let's talk about one other one, actually two other ones, but the first one is this stabilizing brace. What are we talking about when we're talking about the stabilizing brace, and what does he want to do with that?
Sure. And if I can go back one more thing, there's another myth I'd like to shatter for a lot of people, and that is the online sale of firearms. There is a perception right now in the media that you can Google, I want to buy a gun. Where do I buy a gun? And you can buy that gun and boom, it's shipped right to your house. That is a falsehood. Once again, if you purchase any firearm, according to the definition of a firearm as pertaining to the BATF, it must be transferred to a gun dealer, to an FFL holder.
Yeah, I was going to say FFL holder, because I know that I've considered buying guns online before, through one of the big ones, Gun Broker or something like that. And it always has to go to a registered, you send it to a local gun shop is essentially what I think most people do. And then they go in and they pick it up and they pay like a $35 fee to the
transfer fee. They got to buy a transfer fee.
It's kind of like a corkage fee if you think about it. Like you bring your own bottle of wine and they still charge you $20 to pull the cork out. It's like that, I think, and rightfully so. They deserve the money if they're going to receive it for you.
Yeah, because there's costs involved with processing your paperwork, your ATF paperwork at your gun dealer when you buy it online. So you buy it online, you coordinate the dealer, you tell the guy that's receiving it, the dealer that's receiving it, and then you do your background check at the local gun dealer. Then depending on your notification from the FBI background check, then you proceed or delay or denied. So that's the process. It's not this, oh my gosh, we can buy as many guns as we want online.
Yeah, it's not like eBay. You're getting guns shipped to your front door.
Yeah, it's not like eBay. Like eBay.
All right, so stabilizing brace. Tell us about those.
Okay, so in 2013, the ATF approved the device called the PSB, the Pistol Stabilizing Brace, and I believe it was SB Tactical that started that. And it was designed for a veteran that was disadvantaged, handicapped somehow or whatever. And so based on that 2013, that brought up a little bit of debate, because a pistol stabilizing brace, goes on to certain rifles or pistols to create stability, right? And there was controversy when it came out. But then in 2014, even a year later, after the ATF approved this pistol stabilizing brace, they clarified and said, the ATF clarified its position on the braces and said that the brace did not constitute the firearm as a short-barreled rifle. Well, what's a short-barreled rifle? A short-barreled rifle is defined as a firearm that is less than 16 inches, all right, that requires National Firearms Act paperwork, Class 3 paperwork, so you got a shorter rifle, and that rifle has a stock, a regular standardized stock. Typically, this is on your AR-15 platform or other platforms like it, okay? So when you have that, that requires you to submit to a 6-month to 12-month background check, fingerprints, $200 tax stamp. It has to be registered. This is a registry, okay? Not over-the-counter product. This is a registry. And that's how that goes. Okay.
Why do you think those are so dangerous? Why do they care? I mean, are we talking this like a little handle that go like on an AR-15? It's the little holding handle and it just goes on a pistol now? Or I mean, what is?
Okay, so you can we're talking about the AR-15 then. So the AR-15 pistol has a device on the back that has the spring and the buffer to make the bolt go back and forth. Okay, without me getting into all of it, right? So when you put a pistol stabilizing brace on it, it stabilizes the pistol because it's a much shorter firearm platform. And I don't see the relevance of making it safer or not. It would be where this is the slippery slope that I'm talking about, Chris. So, okay, so the guy buys a 12-inch barreled pistol or a 10-inch barreled standard pistol, and there's no brace on it. I believe it's a device made to control and rein in some of the freedoms that are, we're talking about a couple of incidences. Now, I'm not glamorizing the crime,
Right.
nor the criminal. That's not my point at all.
No.
My point is the balance of safety versus freedom, criminalizing 3 up to 3 million or more U.S. citizens legally possessing their firearm overnight.
Yeah.
Because if they don't submit to this, then they have to, they become a felon. Sorry about that. My camera thing just flipped.
Yeah, so you're saying there's about 3 million people that have these stabilizing braces.
Easily. Yeah. So, there we go. Sorry about that. So here we go. So there were about 2 million of these stabilizing braces manufactured alone, which means they can adapt them to whatever gun it's made for. Let me reverse that. About 1 million of those, and 2 million firearms were produced from manufacturers that already incorporated that stabilizing brace. That's where you get the 3 million from. I found this on many reports. It's pretty common knowledge now. So you got 3 million plus. Plus.
Right. Okay. So let's talk lastly about red flag laws. They're doing something with that. Tell us what that is and what your concerns are there.
Okay. So we've all seen these movies about some dude or some male or female that gets a restraining order put on them, and all of the injustice based on that restraining order. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that shouldn't have happened, and anybody who's anybody can anymore can, in my opinion, looking at my experience, can slap a restraining order on somebody. For what purpose? And then the person that has the restraining order now has to justify his innocence, which he may not, because he may not have been charged with a crime. Maybe there was previous or whatever, and that's another thorough debate that could be had. But talking about these red flag laws, I believe that they're similar in nature, because with the wrong intent, now we have this preemptive strike idea of, okay, you know what? I think Jack across the street, I heard him yelling at his wife, Chris. Jack across the street yelled at his wife. Wait a minute. He's got an NRA sticker on his truck. Oh my gosh, he's got guns. Oh my gosh, he could be a threat to my whole family and my neighborhood now.
Yeah, he's going to kill his wife and kids, and he's going to come across the street and kill me and my wife and kids. Yeah, I call that leaping logic. That's emotional leaping logic. They drop a dime on their neighbor, and the cops have to come out and look at it just because this guy said there's a red flag there.
That's right. Yes, it's neighbors turning in neighbors. Sound familiar? 1940s? I don't know. That sounds a little familiar, but once again, this is my phrase right now, is the slippery slope of the balance of safety and freedom. And, it's sad because, I was thinking about Ben Franklin the other day. Not like I think about Ben Franklin every day, but I remember this quote that he wrote to, I believe, his wife. And he said, only a virtuous people are capable of freedom. As nations become more and more they become more corrupt and vicious and are in need of masters. So this comes back to our virtues. It comes back to our society and our upbringing. And believe it or not, in my opinion, how the American man is being a man. And I'm not going to try to go off on a tangent here, but it does reflect our society's virtues have, in my opinion, diminished over time, which causes more and more chaos.
Well, and the lack of comfortability with things that used to define masculinity. And I know that I know what the other side would say. Well, those things shouldn't define masculinity, and traditional, historic, Western, patriarchal masculinity is the source of all the problems in the world. But you look at it even my generation, probably we're relative. I think I'm a little bit older than you, but you especially probably got BB guns growing up for Christmas.
Absolutely.
And they even had gun training in schools. Probably not in our generation. I never had it, but I think our parents and maybe even some of
my parents did.
Older brothers and sisters, gun training in schools and BB guns for Christmas, and all those kinds of things. Target shooting, and heck, we can't even have lawn darts anymore. So, and now we have
those were dangerous.
Yeah, those were dangerous. And now we have men who are just terrified of a gun. And it's really unfortunate. So, well, wrapping up, I want to ask you, what can we do? Is this just a call your senator kind of thing? Is there anything we can do locally? Should they go into their local gun shop? Should they donate to the NRA or any other groups that you think are better? What can we do? Or are we just got to stand back and take it?
Well, I don't believe in standing back and taking it. I mean, we are the people. We, the people, still exist.
Yeah.
And I firmly believe that. And I know that it seems to a lot of us conservatives that we're outnumbered. I just think that we're outspoken. We are not outnumbered. And I really believe that, Chris, because, you know, here I am. I'm like, oh, how old am I? I'm 48 years old. And I'll tell you this, I feel like I'm more outspoken, but a little wiser in how I speak about politics now than I did when I was 28, you know, or 38, or I care just that much more because I fear for the safety and the freedom of my children, you know, and the stability of our nation. And so I believe that we should act responsibly, act intelligently. And yes, we need to have some serious conversations, but we also need to have some serious action.
Absolutely. Well, and I would encourage you, the least that people can do is they can call their senator, their congressman, let them know what they think about these things, if for nothing else, just to get your name on record. But then secondly, I think donating to organizations that help defend our rights. Very, very important.
Yes.
Stephen, thanks so much for joining us, folks.
Yes, sir.
Definitely going to want to go back. All you have to do is just go to politicrossing.com, go to the search bar, type in Stephen Powell, or just Powell would even work. You'll find all his articles. You can click on his page. He's got some great stuff. I know he's done some things on how to hold your pistol and a lot of other different kinds of videos. Really practical.
Coaching them up, man. Coaching them up.
Yeah. So thanks, Stephen. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
All right, buddy. Have a great one. Be safe, America. We need you.